only two types of functions. One, to produce knowledge or to create new knowledge. Two, to transmit that knowledge to our students. To my mind, there are three other functions that are as important to the functioning of a university. Number one, it is to develop in our students certain characteristics that, for want of a better word, I designate as extra-functional abilities. What are some of these? Leadership, for one. Especially in a country like ours, which is so young. It is just so in need of leaders. And I've always believed that UP was just so strategically positioned in history to produce not just the leaders, but the best leaders. Not despots, but democrats. No? Not heels, but heroes. No? Not ignoramuses, but rather really competent, high caliber intellectuals who could serve government. But you need leadership for that. Interestingly, during the first decade of UP's existence, what was emphasized was the development of character. No? Wala nang masyadong emphasis on character. What does character mean? Among other things, I think it means that you don't collapse in moments of emergency. You know what to do exactly during moments of... these are extra functional abilities that you cannot build into a curriculum. But the very atmosphere of a university precisely provides opportunities for the cultivation of character, cultivation of leadership, no? The cultivation of confidence, the kind of confidence that you need in order to play a vital role in society. That's the first. Second one is, a university also plays a role in the development of a society's culture. And that is not solely the responsibility of the arts and the humanities. By culture, I mean here basically three things: who we think we are, what we think we're doing, and to what purpose we think we are doing the things we do. That is culture. No? A university is strategically positioned to affect the culture of any society. But that means you have to enter into a conversation with that society, not alone through the students that you admit, no? But precisely through the kind of conversations and dialogues. In the first instance, I think the university has to interpret scientific knowledge to ordinary people outside of academia. No? Only university people can do that. No? Must shed light on the issues of the day, lending authority, no, behind certain positions that are taken intelligently. Now, so anong ibig sabihin nun for us? No? How can UP expand those occasions and opportunities in which those other things that have nothing to do explicitly with research and instruction can be developed? Well, number one would be to provide more venues, actually, no? Within the campus, no, for the development of character. Put that ambiguously. I don't think that I can reduce it in operational terms, no? But I do recall when I was a freshman in UP in the 1960s. No? I mean, it was such a vibrant campus in the sense that, in the first place, the only organization I joined, which everyone was joining at that time, was, since I came from Pampanga, an Aguman Kapampangan. All right? If you came from Cebu, meron kang sarili mong varsitarian. If you came from Ilocos, may sarili. Do you realize that these regional organizations are gone now? No? They were replaced by fraternities, they were replaced by dramatic clubs, mountaineers, divers, etc., debating clubs, and so on and so forth, along functional lines, not along regional segmental lines. That's how you realize being a university. Sometimes I think we feel that being a university simply means building more buildings, hiring more teachers, offering more courses, and so on and so forth. We forget the tools of conviviality within the university. You know, the very tools that help our students realize their potential as human beings for the future. No? Extracurricular activities is sometimes the term that is so awkwardly used to refer to all of these things. Now, I don't mean just lantern parades and although we should, no? I mean, why not? Or beauty contests. No, I don't think it's not those things. It's many other activities in which our students can have a truly well-rounded stay in the university. No? That's one. The second one, in answer to that question, is just to reiterate it because I had already mentioned it in reply to an earlier question, is precisely to position ourselves as interpreters of the culture, of the knowledge of which we are the custodians, no? And reach out to a larger community beyond our campuses. No? How can you do that? Well, you know, blogging, internet, no? The conversation that is now going on. It is just amazing. If you open any of the major newspapers in the United States, whether it's the New York Times or Washington Post, or any of these magazines, my favorite is Slate magazine. It's a virtual magazine. No? An article is published, let us say by a professor. That article is commented upon by various people in the form of blogs, in the form of comments. No? And then the comments elicit further comments from other people and further blogs. That's what I mean by an ongoing conversation around issues. No? In that manner, whatever knowledge and analytical capabilities our faculty and students have in their possession is not kept within the confines of the classroom, but is rather filters through the various pores, no, of Philippine society and the world itself.
Professor David, we have a question from Open University. The moderator is Professor Catherine Esteves. Please come in.
Good afternoon. This is our question. You said that UP's pride in its autonomy underpins its refusal to submit its operations to the scrutiny and judgment of others. Does this imply that UP should, like the rest of Philippine universities, submit its programs and courses for evaluation by PAASCO and other so-called accreditation and quality assurance bodies?
Yes, absolutely. I agree. And it's not entirely foreign to universities. Universities in Europe and in the United States always invite professors and experts from other universities in order to examine their students. No? When I was a student in Manchester, the professor who gave you your examination was a professor from another university. No? If you need to defend your thesis or your dissertation, the members of your dissertation panel do not come from your university. They are not the same people who taught you. They are examiners from other schools. No? Now, to my mind, UP, because it is so drowning in self-referentiality, no? Always imagines itself as the only university in this country. No? So it thinks, no? Okay, if we're going to invite professors to sit in thesis and dissertation panels, no? Who are we going to invite? Sasabihin la, name me one school. For God's sake. There's so many schools there. There are nearly 400 universities and colleges, no, in this country. Do not tell me that there is not a single or 100 professors there and researchers who are specialists in some form of knowledge or other. No? That's one. Not just in theses and dissertations, but most especially the system of external examination. External examiners. It's about time that we introduce the system of external examination, meaning if you're going to have final examination in one subject, it would be better if the questions were formulated and the answers were assessed by professors from other schools, and vice versa, in a kind of exchange. No? I don't think that that is impossible. This is what I mean by our tacit refusal to submit our operations and our students, to the careful and critical scrutiny of others. I did not mean to say submitting the curricular proposals of UP to CHED. No, I'm very sorry to say. I don't think that CHED at this point is adequately equipped to assess the curricular proposals of UP or perhaps of other universities and colleges in the country. I don't mean to antagonize CHED. I don't think the acting chair of the Board of Regents is here in any event. But I really believe that CHED has so many problems and issues in its hands, it does not have the time to really assess curricular proposals. I would oppose it if they ever required us to submit our curricular proposals, which are already being scrutinized by our university councils, to CHED. But I don't mind submitting our curricular proposals and examinations to the scrutiny of our peers in the Philippines, as well as in Southeast Asia and in the rest of Asia. To me, globalization is inescapable, and it's not always necessarily bad. Globalization forces us to be democratic, to my mind, and to test our capabilities against what is available out there. But if you are self-referential, like so many actors and movie actresses we know, they talk to you, they're actually not listening. They only listen to their own voices. That's what I mean by self-referentiality. They have their own world. Anything outside the world that they have defined, they do not see. They are not going to survive. I didn't want to use the word because I have very high respect for autistic children. But in many ways, self-referentiality is a very bad form of that condition, institutionally, actually. Yeah.
We have a question now from UP Iloilo. The moderator is Professor Dominic Makiran. Please come in.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. We have a question from Dr. Zenaida French, retired faculty, Division of Humanities, College of Arts and Sciences.
Hi, Sani.
Good afternoon, Randy.
Hi,
Actually,
Sani.
my question is practical. What ideas, suggestions can you make towards tapping the UP alumni worldwide as sources of endowments, grants, scholarships, etc., to help the UP attain some form of financial autonomy? Thank you.
I think that President Roman is already doing that, Zeni, but both during the time of President Angara, President Namenzo, who really went around to raise funds, and now President Roman, you see, totoo yun, there's another Filipino nation out there. Incredible as it may seem, 1/10 of the Filipino people live outside. That's creating more than just one province, actually. That's an entire region out there. In fact, they call themselves global Filipinos, which is very interesting because these global Filipinos have not stopped thinking of themselves as Filipinos. Therefore, they follow relentlessly every development in our country. It is true that it's only when you go out of your own country and you step out of the skin of your culture that you begin to think like a Filipino. Therefore, you are indeed right, Sani. That community is a great potential. But I noticed, these people feel so bad when you think of them only for fundraising.